You mean it? I'm running.
We are.
This is special.
Yes, right.
Not part of it.
Strictly need to know.
Oh, we'll have to shoot you.
Ready? Good afternoon, everybody in the audience. Hi, Renee. Everybody else. This is. Oh, it's your live.
Are we expecting trouble?
For those that are
Oh,
joining, we're having a little YouTube audio issue, so we'll be there in 1 second.
This is, I think you just turned out more bedroom.
Welcome to the New Shore Town Council meeting, Friday, September 24th, 2021 at 3:30. There is one agenda item, which is to discuss and act on the National Grid easement for town beach property. So with that, Marianne, do you want to take us through a little bit and then we can discuss and hopefully act?
Sure. So what's before you this afternoon is an easement for National Grid for the beach parking lot and the beach area. As the council is well aware, last spring, as they were finalizing the project for the conduit at the beach, they did run into a slight problem with the conduit. They've done a pressure test, and based on that pressure test, it appears that the integrity of the conduit is good. However, they would like to the next step, what they would like to do is what they call camera the conduit, which means send a camera down, and also there's some dirt and debris in it, and hopefully eventually clean that dirt and debris out. They're looking for a 3-month easement, and it's an amendment to the original easement. It is not a new easement. So all the terms and conditions in the original easement plus this are in fact still in place. They provided square footage, which I provide the council, as well as a dollar amount per square footage plus a rental amount in the end. These numbers are based on the terms and conditions that was negotiated last year, based on the appraisal that was received by both the town and National Grid. And at this point, I'll be happy to take any questions. You have in your packet the area that they would like to use. The bulk of the area is area 1, which is the parking lot, the north parking lot. Area 2 is the southern portion of the parking lot. They don't think they'll be using a lot of that. They may need it for vehicles. Area 7 is where the old pipeline is that they will eventually move. And areas 3, 4, 5, and 6 around the pavilion is what they're going to use to dewater the pipe, and also so that they can camera the pipe. And I think that's about everything.
So a couple of questions that I have, at least, if you don't mind if I start. One of them is, are they going to be disrupting all those areas and really on the beach like last time? I thought the easement said they wouldn't be disturbing the beach at this time under this easement.
Under this, what they would be doing is the usual for areas 4, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's strictly the dewatering of the pipeline. They need the area. It's just around the pavilion. If you look at area 7, which is considerable amount on the beach, the 3, 4, 5, and 6 is not that much on the beach. It's just in the pavilion area.
So 7, they aren't going to have equipment out there and dealing with like they did last time.
It's my understanding, no. But I'll clarify that.
Yeah, because I thought at the last time we talked about it, they wouldn't be on the beach. I mean, they wouldn't be having equipment on the beach and having to rope it off like they have in the past. Second thing is, my thoughts. It says that they may elect to extend the 2021 temporary easement period through to January 31st. Is there either a remuneration to that, and or is there a right that we have to have a discussion about it?
So if you look at item number 4, I guess, is that? what
Yes,
you're
thank you.
looking at?
Yes.
It says that they may extend it to the 2021 in case there's something happens, they get held up, whether it's weather related or whatever. And the remuneration for that is
$9,000.
$9,000. So it's an additional $9,000, which is about $300 per day, which is similar to what was in the regional easement that was negotiated last year.
Do we need any approval of that? Or can they just do it anyway?
I think what they did say is that they would come to us and notify us of the fact prior to the time period of doing that. If we sign this easement, if this easement, if the amendment is approved, the cost to them will be the $9,000.
Okay. And it's not I heard you on the daily rate, but it's a $9,000 fee that allows the month, not a day rate. Is that
At this
right?
point, it says monthly. I just don't think they'll
Oh, good.
get into a day situation.
Done. That's all I had for right this second.
Again, just to confirm, on area 7, that will not be aggressively used during this.
Area
term?
7, if you look at the spreadsheet, they have allocated 4 weeks to be in area 7. And that is strictly to remove the old cable. They would have done that last time if this pipe was, if they didn't run into the issues with the current pipe. So this is basically completing the project and removing the old pipe.
Our spreadsheet is printed vertically, not landscape.
Oh.
Would
Would you like mine?
have to change the setting on landscape.
Yeah, I didn't.
Mark, you want to see
I
mine?
didn't print it.
So, yeah, I have that.
Not yet.
Just
This has the
stop.
whole thing.
Here. I don't have anything.
Okay.
Here's my sheet. Here's my sheet.
So that area is going to be aggressively used in that 4-week period.
Yeah, they have to get rid of the old stuff.
And it will be cordoned off for safety and all of the above.
Correct.
Okay, I got a question. Thank you. I have the same question I always have about the beach. How are we going to get the parking lot done the way the parking lot should be done once this project is wrapped up and before they leave? I don't know why we lost a significant portion of the north parking lot to Roses. Nothing against Roses, that's not the place for them. And I think I sent you all an aerial picture of the pavilion when it was new. The westward face of the dunes was on line with the westward face of the pavilion. And today, that area is just gone. And that all went when they, and I know some of you have been hearing this for 15 years, but when the state stopped putting snow fencing out on the beach, that started happening. Everything started migrating inland, and the parking lot kept getting smaller and smaller. And then once the sand gets in front of the beach pavilion, then the grass grows, and then the roses grow, and then you can't move it because it's a CRMC coastal feature, which is just, I'm like, can we go? Well,
Yeah.
I'd go there. And last summer, the south parking lot never even got cleaned out. So we've only had maybe 2 summers of a well-ordered parking lot on the south end, and the north end has been Since 1954, it's been kind of hit or miss. And it just seems like this is an opportunity to get this done. I mean, we've got so much else going on. These entities have used our parking lot, have used our island so much. This is the least they can do. And I don't even care if it's Grid or Orsted. I just want it done.
I agree with that. I want a formal plan for what's gonna happen there and who's gonna pay for it.
So I just need some clarification. I've spoke both to Orsted and National Grid. National Grid, the easement that was originally signed specifically states that the parking lot must be restored to the condition it was in when they started the project. I have, Orsted's a different story. However, I do have an email from Brian Wilson, and he said that they being Orsted, they're aware of the fact there was drainage issues after the project was completed last year. And they also are committed to restoring the parking lot back to what it was originally prior to the start of the project. What I'm hearing, and I just want to be sure, is the council want the parking lot restored to what it was some years ago, or just prior to this project going on?
You know,
In my mind, that's two different things.
There are two different things. The piece about the dunes moving is just something that I always put in there because I feel like I'm getting to the point where I've stopped thinking, it's not that I'm so old, it's that nobody pays attention. And I mention that any chance I get. I want that, what I would like to see is the south end, the south parking lot restored to the way it was the one summer. And was it only one summer that it really worked well with the curbs in? The curbs are all aligned. And when we lost the whole southeast corner of that parking lot, it's under sand now. That normally would be dug out. And I don't know what happened in the north end. I don't know where, because there was so much going on, even though I drove by it every day, I didn't notice all of that sand being put in there and all of the beach roses being put in there. And that's just what they took out on the other end to increase the parking and get the parking off the street, which was the whole point of it, to remove cars from parking on the Cornick Road in front of the beach pavilion, which is a whole big safety issue. And somewhere I've got the count. I took one summer day of how many cars there were on that road, and it was a couple hundred at least.
So why don't I do this? It appears that if the consensus of the council to start exploring, doing some work on that beach to increase the parking spaces there. And Mark is right. We may need to get through CRMC and stuff like that. So let me start the ball rolling on that.
Well, I think you're hearing something else too. And that is, I think we'd like something clear and definitive and binding from either or both of the parties on parking lot restoration. Certainly before I'm prepared to vote on an extension of an easement. Because we have these moments.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And I think it's a problem not to use the leverage when we have it.
So can I clarify for a minute? 'Cause I wanted to make sure it's very clear. So I want to separate the two out. Is what I've heard from both of you. Parking lot 2, just for everybody's knowledge, is the southern lot. If I can be very bold to say, it's the one that's been flooding a lot lately and not draining, plus the sand in the southeast corner. That is one issue. I think you mentioned an email from Orsted. On the northern lot is another issue, which was about, Martha's mentioned about roses, sand being brought in. I don't know. And I think Keith is trying to say both issues need to be in this easement or at least addressed in some writing. And we may be close. And I think they may be two different things. So one is National Grid or whatever it is, Narragansett, National Grid, and one may be Orsted. But is there a way to add into this about or to ensure that parking lot that lot number 1 will be restored to how it is? And do we need any more teeth? Because my fear is that, to be honest with you, National Grid will, I don't mean this the wrong way, but they will do everything they can to minimize costs and maximize exit. And I just want to make sure that at least lot number 1 is restored to where it was 2019.
Yeah,
I
when,
mean, that's,
no,
I'm
I'm not, that's what I can't remember when it was. I've got flooding in 2018. I don't remember what year, I've lost a year. 2018, it was like it is now. This is 2018.
Mhm.
That same end of the pond, it's flooded.
Is that on the north
The
or south?
pond, that's the south end.
That's the
south
south
end.
end. So let's just, on
But
number
I think
1,
19 is what we may be looking for, 2019.
right, I think on number 1 is going back to 2019. I'm just trying to.
So was that prior to the start of this project then?
Yeah, when
Well, yeah.
did Ed leave?
So,
We can
Yeah,
figure
would
this
be.
out.
here's where I'm going with this. I do have something from Orsted that they gave me an email. We do have the original grant easement from National Grid that states that they need to restore the parking lot back to what it was prior. If you want to, for the suspenders and stuff like that, if you want to add something to the easement, that's before you.
Well, here's the thing. I want something more than an email
I got it.
from Brian Wilson
Okay.
about this. I mean, I trust and love Brian Wilson, but I've been a part of enough of these over the course of my life and career to know that an email from Brian Wilson is not difficult for a large corporation to dismiss when it comes to a binding agreement. So I think we should, and shame on me for not, but I'd like to see what Orsted agreed to originally, what National Grid agreed to originally, and frankly, National Grid and Orsted are big girls and boys. They know what the town wants. The town wants is a functioning parking lot, and that's not what we have now. So the ball's really in their court to sort of demonstrate to us that they're honor bound to do it. I agree with Sven. I mean, one of the things, I think the big supporter of the wind farm, I think it's beautiful and wonderful and all that. This parking lot piece of this thing, there has been nothing that happens that would give anybody in the community confidence that they're going to pull it off efficiently and sort of stick with it, so that we get the restoration that we deserve. So I want something hard and fast from them about what that's going to look like.
I mean, there've got to be some files in the facilities managers, whatever was left behind, and Dave Sniffin's files on this parking lot. I've got a picture of it in May 2019, and it looks pretty clean and new. So that would have been after work was done, and this is what we thought we were going to have from then on. And the expectation at that time was that the north parking lot would be done the next year. Then everything kind of blew up on that one. And I just think that I agree that my colleagues, this is the opportunity we have to get something. And as this may sound trivial to people who are listening to this is a beach parking is a huge issue here. The number of cars on that road is a huge issue. The manner in which the parking lot was finally rearranged, that some of us didn't think was ever going to work because it just didn't look like it would, was kind of extraordinary. And I just went back. It's not like I'm going back to 1905 or something. I'm talking about 2019, pity's sake.
One quick question. Were representatives of these groups asked to be here today?
No, I didn't.
I'd like a warm body in front of me.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing is, I don't hear any issues about the easement itself and the concept or the details of the easement. I'm hearing more about addition to what I'm gonna put, a phrase is sort of the side dish. And I think the side dish is a little important because we've all learned. And I do agree with Keith that there's a time when we have a document, and we have something that they need to get done. I think we talked a little bit about extensions. I'm very worried about National Grid's, just getting this whole thing done. But I think if we can quickly next week meet, the timing may be an issue. I don't think there's any intention to hold this up, assuming that Orsted can give a document that's satisfactory to the south parking lot, and maybe we can add just reaffirm the original easement about restoring to the parking lot to its natural previous condition by National Grid.
Do you want to just add that statement in this now? In this easement, or do you want the folks to be here and have a discussion?
For me personally, I want to see the original documents, what they agreed to, because I know that this builds off of that. And you know, the only thing I know, it's just figures of speech, but to me, this is not a side dish. This is the main course for us, you know?
Well, this is the one that has the longest impact on us. Everything else is theoretically, everything else is underground. Everything else is out of sight. This is what we're dealing with, and we're going to keep dealing with unless it gets fixed. And it has not been fixed. And it's been getting worse for years and years and years. And this finally kind of pushed it over the top.
Mary, can I ask one question? And this is to Mark's comment. It'd be nice if National Grid released on the phone.
I can try if you want.
No.
Do you want me to try reaching out to them?
No. If this doesn't work, whether it's January 31st, the $9,000 extension, or what is natural? I mean, they sort of screwed up pretty big,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, here you've done they've done the big horizontal drilling, you did it all, the damn thing fills up. I mean, I don't want to be silly here. I hope we're ready and they're ready to actually get this thing fixed. If this doesn't work, they're back to square one, re-drilling and holding the pipeline. What I had slated to do is have National Grid, I did already speak to them and ask them to come to a meeting in October for the town council, because I figured that'd be enough time between starting October 1st and where they would be and what their next steps will be for Floyd. If this doesn't work. If this doesn't work, they need to do a whole new project.
The meeting at which this was discussed was one of the last meetings we had before COVID,
Okay,
because it was the one I couldn't hear. It would have been end of February 2020.
So what I'm hearing is a desire to, one, see the previous agreement, two, is to have something in a bit of writing from Orsted, and then a sentence or reference back to the original, assuming it was all good, for the north parking lot. And Mary, I guess.
this does reference, if the first paragraph does reference the first easement.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yes,
why I'd like
but
to
not
see
the
it.
Language
Yeah.
of the restoration.
Okay, so you want to add the restoration.
Keep them going.
Yeah, I would like to see the easement to see what they agreed to, but and then we can decide what language we want. For me, anyway, you know, I just haven't read the old easement. Cool.
Now, I have no problems, and anybody else here in meeting it's probably Tuesday. Whatever the 48 hours we want to get for. If that, we want to do that, so we don't want to hold up the project, I think we just all want to make sure that the buttons are buttoned and
But we're prepared to.
we will. I know, I don't get right.
I know, absolutely.
All I would ask is that you hold off till Wednesday, when we'll be coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Fine.
And I would like to see a representative from the group here.
I will definitely reach out to both and ask them to be here, physically be here.
Oh,
Sorry, I know you wanted done, is that, well, I trust it won't delay it. Well, that's it.
Any other documents I can get to the council before that meeting?
Original easement
Okay, you can have that before you leave today.
and a document from Orsted that is a little bit more, and what I heard from Keith, a little bit more binding than an email from Brian.
Yeah,
Okay,
no disrespect intended to Brian, but I've fought over those kinds of easements, those kinds of emails before and what they mean.
and when do you want to meet on Wednesday?
I'm open.
Mid-afternoon, late afternoon is fine. Late afternoon,
3 o'clock.
make it 4, because I'll probably might be on that 3 o'clock loop back.
4 o'clock. Going
That's,
this coming Wednesday, the
next week.
29th.
29th.
Mark, are you on Wednesday?
Probably not, no, because I was bringing a vehicle back, so no,
No, I meant the 4:30.
thank you.
yeah, 4:30 is fine. You can bring the knitters. It's fine.
No, they'll be done there.
Oh.
And I hope they're compliant, and I hope there's a representative, because I think this money component of it is kind of short, so I think it would be to their advantage to be here and comply with everything we're requesting.
Marianne, on a rate basis, because I haven't seen the original either, on a rate basis, this is consistent rate wise, sort of with what, or is it?
It was what was negotiated last year,
It was what we did last year.
based on appraisal that, individual appraisal that was done by both, someone for the town had their own individual appraisal and National Grid had theirs. And based on those appraisal staff, negotiated with
Mhm.
them for these amounts, and I confirmed that with staff.
Why don't you just put this down for Saturday? That's not bad, is it?
Well,
Is there
just,
a need,
we'll,
one last
just
question?
wait for us. We'll
If you
get
don't
there.
mind, there's one last question on the letter from Orsted. I don't think they know yet what they need to do to improve the drainage. So I just think it's all about improving drainage.
I just don't want to get to a point where, and I can see, yeah, no, we're just talking. I don't want to get to a point where we have us and Marianne and Matt in a go-round with Orsted about,
What is it?
yeah, what is it? I think that's highly likely, it seems to me. And I don't think, I'm like Martha, I don't think it is, installing, some multi-million-dollar system, but it's got to be something.
But just mention the two big things I heard tonight, because I'm trying to define it.
Yeah, yeah,
One is drainage after a storm, so that
Right.
there's actually drainage.
Yeah.
Let's fix the fix. I wasn't gonna say that. I don't want to get into detailing it because if we leave something out, they'll come back and say, well, you didn't tell us to do that. We want them to return the parking lot to what it was. I just sent everybody a picture in May of 2019. And I would say that's restoring the south parking lot. The north parking lot was going to be done. It didn't get done because they had to come back and use our parking lot, which they've done. And I don't think they caused any problems, but we want them to take, I don't know am I the only one that's different crazy by those roses? They're taking up half the freaking parking space. They went and said it. They are. I mean, it wasn't anywhere near that wide before.
No.
You don't need a buffer between the highway and the. I just want parking off the road. I want safe parking off the road at the beach house. And it's been demonstrated to us that it can be done. in the space that is there, if the space that is there is properly utilized. It's been done. Dave Sniffen must have something in a file somewhere. Mike and, yeah, I was thinking,
South parking lot with
But-
Mike Shea and Sam, I know a lot, or the
Yeah.
designing of, it, Mary, really worked well.
so can we assign that to Matt?
Okay. Mark, anything else?
No.
Martha?
No, and I don't want to dismiss, I don't want it to be that, give the appearance that I'm not concerned about the, they're paying us the right amount of money. I think Mark's going to handle that anyway. And Keith is going to have the easement details. And I just don't want to lose the focus on this. I'm afraid too many times it has been lost because, oh, that's an extra or that's an aside. And we've got to stop letting people do this.
Keith, anything else?
I was just going to say before we adjourn, so that Mark can tell his father that the town council, the town of New Shoreham wished him well on his 101st birthday this weekend.
And we're delaying the meeting for the birthday.
His wonderful sons.
I missed the way that sentence put together. I thought, well, he's not that old.
So what time are we meeting? So I can.
4:30 on Wednesday.
29.
And there's at least one agenda item, as far as I know, maybe there's a second one. But we'll look at it. Yeah. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Martha, how do you vote?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Mark?
Aye.
Everybody have a good night.
Can the appraisals be available to voters?
Yes, they were done last year.
Are they available?
Yeah. Excellent.
And there will be, are you gonna be here, Rosemary, Wednesday? Oh, no, meaning you're on the island. I was gonna say, we'll, once we have all those documents, there will be more public input at that time. I just figured there was enough missing right now that not to have a lot of public input. Thank you. Thank you.
See you, chief. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, kids.
Have a great time.
So Mark,
We were there to represent the town